The lesson of contentment from the black crow. Once upon a time there was a crow who despised its black feathers and was equally annoyed with its fellow crows who shared the same black plumage. One day, the crow happened to see a flock of birds with vibrant, colorful feathers, peacocks, parrots, and kingfishers, joyfully playing in the forest. Instantly, the crow was mesmerized by their radiant plumage and secretly wished, "If only I could have such colorful feathers." Suddenly, the crow noticed a few colorful feathers on the ground, likely shed by those birds. The crow thought, "If I collect these feathers and stick them onto myself, wouldn't I become a colorful bird too?" So the crow began gathering the feathers scattered on the ground. Once it had collected enough, it adorned itself with them and proudly flew home. Upon returning, the crow admired its new appearance, feeling glamorous and unique with the colorful feathers. It boasted to its friends, "Look at my beautiful feathers. Aren't they the most stunning of all?" Knowing the crow's longing for colorful plumage, its friends reluctantly said, "Your feathers are so beautiful, even better than those of peacocks, parrots, and kingfishers." Hearing this, the crow was overjoyed and became convinced it was the most beautiful bird of all. Thinking so, the crow decided to leave its flock and join the group of colorful birds. However, upon meeting the peacocks, parrots, and kingfishers, the crow became arrogant, constantly bragging that its feathers were the most magnificent. One day, heavy rain began to pour. Unexpectedly, the colorful feathers the crow had attached to itself became soaked and fell off one by one. The peacocks, parrots, and kingfishers were stunned to see that the bird who had been showing off its beauty was, in fact, just a crow with plain black feathers. Furious at being deceived, they attacked the crow, pecking at it until even its black feathers fell off. The crow, severely injured, lay unconscious on the ground. Only then did the colorful birds leave. When the crow awoke, it looked at its pathetic state, unsure where to go or what to do. It remembered how proudly it had shown off its colorful feathers to its friends, and now felt too ashamed to return to them. Just then, its old friends flew by and saw the crow lying miserably on the ground. One friend said, "If you had accepted the black feathers given to you by nature, without arrogance and chasing after vanity, you wouldn't be suffering like this today. It's because you failed to appreciate what you already had and kept pursuing things that didn't belong to you. Don't you realize that only what suits you is truly the best?" Saying this, the flock of crows flew away, leaving the crow behind, ignored and alone. Left on the ground, the crow reflected deeply. Eventually, it sighed and said, "For a bird, the greatest joy is to have wings and the freedom to fly. Why should I have cared so much about flashy appearances, blindly pursuing them, only to end up so unsatisfied? True happiness comes from within. When you accept what suits you, that is the greatest happiness of all." The greatest secret to happiness is contentment leads to joy. If a person cannot be content, no matter how much they possess, they will never feel happy. When one's heart is filled with greed and dissatisfaction, they will always feel empty, endlessly seeking more from the outside world. When the things we crave remain out of reach, our unfulfilled desires will consume us, leaving no peace in our hearts and no room for happiness. In life, if we keep looking at other mountains while ignoring the one we stand on, we'll forget that we already possess something valuable under our feet. Like the crow in the story, it had wings and black feathers that allowed it to soar freely through the skies. Yet it envied the birds with colorful plumage and even despised its fellow crows with the same black feathers. In the end, because of its desire to adorn itself with colorful feathers, it no longer valued its friends who shared its journey. Little did the crow know that its momentary arrogance and lack of humility cost it the chance to befriend the colorful birds and caused it to lose its old companions too. Only then did the crow realize, pursuing things that don't belong to us is futile. In the end, it often leaves us abandoned and forgotten. In truth, the moment the crow looked down on its friends, it was also rejecting itself, the crow with the black feathers it was naturally blessed with. But the crow failed to understand this. If you cannot accept yourself, how can you expect anyone else to accept you? Ultimately, we come to understand that whether colorful or black, only what suits us is truly the best. After all, no matter how glamorous appearances may be, they can never fill an empty soul. The ancients once said, "Those who desire without knowing when to stop will lose what they long for. Those who possess but do not appreciate will lose what they already have." True wealth lies within the soul. That is the secret to happiness. If you enjoyed this story, please like and share the video to spread its message to your friends. See you in the next video.